Okay, it's Sunday again, and we've lined up another game. We were going to play some 40k, but we still haven't read through the rulebook thoroughly. So it's Warhammer again, and it's the same matchup as well. We're actually using the same list we did last week. Obviously a different scenario. This one's the Dawn attack scenario, hence why my Grave Guard is sitting all the way over here, which is a bit of a problem. Yeah, so 2,400 points, and I'll just run you through Vampire Counts deployment first. We've got 9 Black Knights with the Vampire Lord. He's level 1. We've got 40 Zombies, 6 Crypt Horrors, proxy for a Mortis Engine. I've got the model now, but I still need to assemble it and kind of paint it as well, so that could be a while. Got a 20 zombie bunker with my Master Necromancer and level 1 in. And we've got 20 Crypt Ghouls, 40 Skeletons, a Spirit Host, and of course my 24 Grave Guard. They're the only ones I actually rolled who were in a weird place. The Black Knights rolled over here, but that's kind of where I was wanting to put them anyway, so that wasn't really a problem. So it's not too bad. So I'll hand you over to Si so you can see his deployment. Okay.
Okay. This is Skaven deployment. Over here on my left, I have a Doom Wheel. I rolled pretty much exactly what I wanted for this game. I got really lucky, which probably by standard rules means I'm now going to be screwed for the rest of the game. But no, I did pretty well with the deployment, and I got a lot of 6s when I needed them, and everything pretty much fell into place. So I'm sort of fairly happy. But yeah, like I say, on my left I have a Doom Wheel. On my right I have 2 units of, further on my left I have 2 units of 50 slaves, each led by a Warlock Engineer. And then sort of within the leadership bubble I have my general here, who's still getting his paint job, so he's been subbed in by Quick. The BSB and the Greyseer in the bunker unit behind. Have a Hell Pit in the middle, Plague Priest on a Plague Furnace with some Plague Monks, and I have another Doom Wheel, and then finally on my right I have a unit of 30 Skaven slaves. Ooh, which reminds me, Storm Vermin, yeah. Well, not too much difference between the two, but yeah, which reminds me I need to roll for the Skaven brew. It's a 3, which I believe is Hatred. Let's have a look. It is, yes, Hatred. Marvellous. So yeah, rerolls to hit for everyone in that unit, which is awesome. So yeah, well, I believe that is everything, and yeah, we will come back at the end of the first turn.
Okay, end of Vampire Counts turn 1. Si decided he didn't want to go first, so he didn't even try to steal the initiative, which is a shame. Right, so I just kind of sort of fiddled about really. I didn't really do anything. I just moved some stuff up, just sort of angled it a bit different, but didn't really move. The Grave Guard did their best with their full movement to try and get to position themselves so they could actually take some part in this battle. Spirit Host just moved over here just to kind of attempt to get out of line of sight of that rattling gun, because apparently they have Warpstone ammo, so that's bad news for him. But in the big news is I had a magic phase, rolled double 6 for the magic phase, and did some casting. So unfortunately Side Channel said 7 Dispel Dice, but I managed to create this unit. I did a Raise Dead, which he let go, then I cast a big Invocation, like a 12 range, which he dispelled, and then I cast a smaller one on the other Necromancer. I managed to fill them out a bit, so I've got 19 zombies there, which should help no end with dealing with that Doom Wheel. So yeah, so that was pretty good. But that's all that happened, I'm afraid. So we'll see what happens in Skaven turn 1.
Okay, end of Skaven turn 1. Not really that much happened. Basically, everyone moved up, as you can see. Everyone just lunged forward. The magic phase was a total write-off because I rolled a 6 and a 1. So everything was out of range except Blessed with Filth. And obviously you're either going to roll a miscast to get it off, or Ollie's just going to drop 6 dice on it. So I didn't even bother rolling. Shooting phase, well, I reduced the new zombie unit by a fair few, well, by about a quarter. But other than that, I missed with my Doom Rocket and was shooting at the zombies. I managed to roll 29 and hit Ollie himself.
Luckily I ducked.
But yeah, that was about all that happened in the shooting phase. So really, sort of nothing much has happened this first turn. So yeah, we will have to see what happens with Vampire Counts turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Counts turn 2. It's been a bit more eventful than last time. The Graveguard are just trying to make their way up. The new zombies charged into the Doomwell. That didn't go so well. The skeletons just moved up to kind of meet the Plague Monks. These guys just kind of formed a little conclave to kind of flank whatever comes in. The Black Knights charged into the Doomwell. Had a magic phase. I think got 10, got a couple of channels. So, but it wasn't very good actually, because I attempted to cast a big invocation to try and buff up the zombies a bit more, but unfortunately it failed to cast. So yeah, that's good. I don't think I got any other spells off, did I?
No, I think I dispelled the others.
Yeah. Yeah, Raised Dead was dispelled, wasn't it? And he failed to cast as well. So yeah, so that was 10 dice wasted. But you know, once in a while, it's fair enough. No one got sucked into the void, which is nice. It's nice of them. Obviously no shooting, and in close combat the zombies did a wound to the Doomwell, which was nice. But the Doomwell handed them their rotting arses and actually wiped out most of them. So there's only 3 left now, so they're probably going to die in the shooting phase. But they're doing their job. They're just holding out the Doomwell. Unfortunately, because they died and they've been reduced there, they're not blocking off the Plague Monks anymore, which is a shame. Which would have been possible, I think, if I got that invocation off, but never mind. And then in other news, the Vampire Lords attacked the Doomwell, rolled to hit, all hit, rolled to wound, and rolled 5 1s. 5 1s! I mean, well,
it's usually
size head exploding by the odds of that.
That's usually my territory.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite possible in Size World, but in my world, that's... So I didn't like it, but I was due for that. I've been pretty lucky for like the last 20 goes, so I had that coming. But that's really hurt, because now they're going to be stuck there, and you know, got plagues are going to bog them down, and it's just going to be horrible. So, but yeah. So other than that, wasn't a bad turn, but we'll have to see what happens in Skaven turn 2. So see you then.
Okay, end of Skaven turn 2. Quite a fair bit happened. Basically, everything pretty much charged in. For the way the 2 slave units were, this slave unit wasn't able to engage because it wouldn't have been able to fit around, because the other slave unit was sort of over here. However, I did nominated the 3 charges of both the slave units and the plague furnace. Unfortunately, the plague furnace failed. Which was a little unfortunate. It was trying to charge the skeletons. However, this charged first, got into the zombies. This then freed up the space for these guys to go into the flank of the horseman unit. That was basically all my charges. Then in the compulsory movement phase, I had just enough random movement, and I was fortunate that I pivoted just in the right place. So I had just enough random movement and pivoted in the right direction, taking it to the flank of the zombies, which turned out to be quite a useful move. The magic phase was fairly uneventful. It was unfortunate. I would have had almost sort of major domination in my magic phase, but I rolled a double one right at the bad time, and then basically that was kind of the end of it. So nothing got off there. So basically the result of the charge was I smashed up the zombies pretty badly. I obviously did nothing here, but those should now hopefully be nice and tar pitted for a bit, with my general sat close by. It's a bit unfortunate these didn't get in, but they moved up ready to charge next time. The Doom Wheel in the shooting phase managed to gank the last 3 dudes on him, so that frees him up for next turn, hopefully. Excuse me. While in the other part of the shooting phase, my 2 Rattling guns shot the Spirit Host, although one blew up. But I did manage to put 2 wounds on the Spirit Host and sort of weaken it a fair bit, which is nice.
Yeah, unfortunately these storm vermin won't go in the building because they think it's haunted.
Bloody is haunted. But yeah, it's not a bad turn for Skaven, and yeah, we'll be on to Vampire Counts turn 3.
It's the end of Vampire Counts turn 3. Fair bit happened this round. Obviously the slaves are right up in my zombies, so I countercharged with my Crypt Horrors and my Crypt Ghouls. Some crypt on crypt action. The zombies just stayed there. The skeletons moved up just to kind of block the plague for Vernus. The Graveguard moved up. The Spirit Host is still haunting that building, and these guys carried on fighting in their combat. So first of all, the magic phase, I managed to cast. No, you dispelled it, didn't you? So I don't think I got off anything.
You got the.
Oh yeah,
I got back over there.
got an invocation off of here, and got 2 Black Knights back, and that was it, unfortunately. So would have been nice to replenish this unit a bit, but unfortunately, so I dispelled that. So yeah, in close combat, these guys killed the Vampire Lord. Woke up and killed the Doom Wheel outright, and so they just reformed to face these guys after winning the combat. Of course, they're steadfast 1,000,000 until the end of time, so going to be there for a while. This combat went a lot better. The Hell Pit killed, I don't know, like 15 zombies or something crazy, but my Crypt Ghouls and Horrors killed an absolute load of slaves, and the unit broke. So that was pretty sweet actually, and these guys overrun. As far as we know, once the combat's like that, there's no way to sort of readjust so they can rejoin base contact. So as far as we know, they're disjointed from combat now. So don't know. Let us know on that. It's always a bit cagey when there's a multiple combat and something flees and something doesn't. But as far as we can work out, once they're not in base contact and there's no way of rejoining the combat, then they're just not in the combat. So hence why I've done the overrun here. But other than that, that's how it looks. So it's going pretty well. I'm kind of hoping these ghouls will be able to do something. I'm not sure. I think his Warlord's a bit choppy, so.
Who's this Skaven Warlord? I wouldn't even trust him to kill the champion of that unit.
He's alright, there's no champion, so.
Oh man.
Might show some courage.
I'm screwed.
Yeah, so we'll see you at the end of Skaven turn 3. Is it 3 or 4?
Yes,
3.
Skaven turn 3.
Okay, end of Skaven turn 3. Basically, the Plague Monks charged into the skeletons. My bunker unit just moved across a little bit. It's still going to get the charge in a bit. These guys just sort of moved up and around. The Doom Wheel was kind of forced to move forwards because it pretty much that was the only direction it could go due to the way the charge worked and maximising base contact over there. Basically, magic phase, nothing much really happened. But I did force Ollie to use his Dispel Scroll, which was pretty sweet. Over here, the slaves carried on tanking his general's unit, which is pretty good. This is about as much as I can hope for. If they last another round of combat, that will be awesome. Over here, the Hell Pit actually really did well not to kill very many, because he's now not like piston in the wind, ready to receive a charge from them. So yeah.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah. I don't want to get charged. I like my Hell Pit. I don't like him dying.
He skillfully missed all his attacks.
That was proper deliberate. Yeah. Nothing to do with my shit dice rolling. Basically, in close combat, these guys have got their asses kicked, but they're tanking, so don't matter. Over here, they obliterated the skeletons, even with some pretty awesome armour saves that Ollie made. Still hacked them up a good bit. So, bit disappointing. A nice overrun would have put me in a good charge position, but oh well. Nothing too sad. I managed to kill the spirit host inhabiting the building, so that was pretty nice. But yeah, other than that, not bad end of round. So yeah, onwards to vampire counts turn 4. We'll see what that brings.
Okay, end of vampire counts turn 4, and it's looking pretty bad. The close combat. There was a little bit of moving, but nothing significant apart from the Graveguard charging into the Doom Wheel here. And the Ghouls charged into his bunker. Magic phase was a real low one, only got 3 dice, attempted to cast an invocation, actually failed to cast it, so that didn't happen. And then in close combat, killed loads more slaves, but of course they're still steadfast, so they're still holding. The zombies here died to the Hell Pit, so they did pretty well to last that long, to be honest. The Ghouls did terrible, did a wound to the Greyseer, but then his rank and file killed loads of mine. I thought his characters not going to kill any. I may have killed a few, but yeah. The skeletons here didn't last too long. Luckily the Graveguard gained the flank off the overrun from killing the Doom Wheel. I managed to win the combat, but it doesn't really make a difference because now I'm going to get those in the flank. So that could be the end of the Graveguard. So it's not looking very good at the moment. It really depends if I can get through this unit. And hopefully my Vampire Lord can kill size army in the next 2 turns. That'd be awesome. But we'll have to see what happens. So that's it. So we'll see you at the end of Skaven turn 4. Yeah, that's right, he's got his turn next. So this is going to be really bad.
Okay, end of Skaven turn 4. Fair bit happens. Basically, the Hell Pit charged in against the Crypt Horrors. Basically, pretty much bounced off of it. I rolled really badly. Did 2 wounds, one of which is past his regen. And I took like 6 in return. Made half of my saves, which is usually a miracle for me because no one would be enough to kill it. Basically, over here, the slaves finally gave out to the general's unit. Amazing effort by the slaves. Over here, my general's unit worked his way finally through the last of the ghouls and reformed, basically to redirect with what is quite possibly one of the most expensive redirection units in the game. Probably one of the worst. Over here, I beat the Graveguard. Oh no, I didn't. well, I did beat
one
Graveyard.
left.
There is one left, hopefully to be ganked. And then basically that just that leaves me in a fairly good position. Although I would like another big unit of 50 slaves, frankly, to be tanking him. But not so bad. And yeah, I'll basically have to see how turn 5 treats me. That should be all go for the vampire counts.
Okay, it's the end of vampire counts turn 5, and this is how it looks at the moment. It didn't end well for the Grave Guard, as expected. These guys just kind of moved up a little bit. The Help It did actually die from the Reliquary. Did him a load of strength 5 hits. I think we're about to find out if he's too horrible to die. Which could be a problem. There's a little marker here just to show where he was.
Yes!
Oh no!
Oh yeah!
So I just skilled it.
He's back! Full health, baby. Full health.
Uh-oh. Right, yeah. And in worse news, the Vampire Lord and his unit actually lost the combat by 1. Don't ask, because I don't know what happened there. I took a risk to kill the BSB, but of course only got 2 combat res. And of course Black Knights, being merely bodyguards, just useless in close combat, so they did nothing in the way of combat res. So I actually lost the combat by 1, so that was pretty bad. But this is worse.
Oh, I'm going to be a cheeky gibber. I'm putting him there.
Does he have... So he's not in base contact then?
No.
Right.
I'm not allowed to place him back into combat.
Right, okay, fair enough. Yeah, so that's nice. So that's the end of Vampire Counts turn 5, and we'll see what Sai can kill in his turn 5.
Okay, end of Skaven turn 5. Quite amazingly, my bunker unit is still here. Basically, they all kind of fluff their attacks and managed to make my roll. Although I don't think they're going to get that lucky this time around. But yeah, basically the last vestige of the what was that from? That is going to be that's the bunkers rattling gun. So at least I can deny him the points from the unit, and you only get the characters. Over here, the Help Hit and the Plague Furnace crashed into the zombies, absolutely annihilated them. Although, unfortunately, with my overrun, I managed to take the Help It out of the way of the Plague Monks, who then overran into the Crypt Horrors. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a crap clip, but it means that we're not going to be able to do enough damage to each other to lose each other's units. So it's pretty much that is that. I reformed and moved these guys into the tower just to avoid anything and conserve points. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of my turn 5. So it's the last turn for Vampire Counts, turn 6.
Okay, that's the end of Vampire Counts turn 6. The vampire the Necromancer just moved to kind of get out of line of sight of that, counting on the fact that this combat wouldn't end. So he's just moved up there. Crypt Horrors fought these guys. Unfortunately, I've fluffed a lot of my attacks, so he won through static combat res, did 2 wounds, so I lost a Crypt Horror. Let's take that away. This did pretty well. It did its reliquary thing. I managed to damage the Help It, doing 2 wounds to it, which doesn't really matter now, but it's just made me feel good. Killed a few other things. The Vampire Lord chopped up the unit. They weren't steadfast anymore, but they got away because they fled an extra inch, because apparently Skaven are really good at running away.
Oh yes.
Little bastards. So yeah, he's robbed me of some points there. So my only hope is they don't rally and run off the board, but there's quite a lot of board there. So I don't think that's going to happen. So that and everything else has probably cost me the game. So we'll see what happens in size turn 6, but it does not look good for me. But I'm sure Sai can steal victory from the jaws of defeat, or vice versa.
Hopefully. Okay, end of Skaven turn 6. Basically, these guys rallied. I hadn't turned them around. I thought it'd be more fitting that they were scarfering. But yeah, essentially nothing much happened other than they rallied and that turned around. The magic phase, I got a wither off on those guys. That was about it. Then in the shooting, I shot with these guys against the knights, hoping to remove one. Remove two, sorry, and get some more points that way. But unfortunately, I rolled a double, but thankfully only half shot. So I still managed to do a couple of wounds, and I still managed to take one out, which was nice. But yeah, obviously, normal strength, that would have been a bit more devastating. Combat over there was sort of nothing really happened. It was just another one by static combat res. That was pretty much it. So the game ended at that point after 6 turns. Ollie got 671 victory points and I got 993. So it was a win for the Skaven. So it was a good game.
It was an awesome game.
Yeah, so was very impressed with my forces. I think probably I've got 2 units of the match. I think the first being the unit of slave that tanked his general for so long, and the second being this unit, which quite frankly was amazing because other than losing the battle standard bearer, they're still all intact. So yeah, it was sort of pretty much there. It was, yeah, and even when I think about it, actually, if you'd managed to slot my general and I think even if you killed the Grace area, the game would have been a draw.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Because you would have got like a good. You would have got 265 for that. So.
Yeah, I think that last turn, I basically had a choice. I could either kill your Grace here, and the unit would still be steadfast, or I could break you steadfast and just hope I overrun you. And I decided to go for the riskier option, and hope that I just took out the unit because I needed the points.
Yeah, well, you would have won if you'd done that because you would have got another 100 odd for the unit itself.
Yeah.
It was about 100 for the general and another 100 for killing the general. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to take that risk kind of thing. But it didn't pay off because Skaven were really good at running away. So
yes,
you won by running away.
It's the Skaven way. It's the Skaven way. It was good. It's nice to grab the odd win here and there. There was a good bit of luck on either side. I think I got a lion's share of it.
I think this game particularly is certainly less down to luck. I think it just played really well. So.
Yeah, I think.
Although I must admit my 5-1s screwed me.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
But I was overdue for some bad luck, and that came with a vengeance. So.
Yeah, man. It was basically holding his general up for most of the game, sort of over there, and then these guys I'd initially decided as expensive redirectors, and then just managing to hold them up as well. It was awesome. But it's sort of hard to get around him. I was a bit gutted. I never managed to kill the entire unit, but I got it close. But yeah, I think it was a good game. Still some lessons learned. Like I got lucky with the deployment. I deployed the slaves a bit poorly. And if I'd thought about it a bit better, I think I would have deployed them a bit further apart, because I think, like Ollie said, that it was only the fact that they held up, and I managed to get a charge off with one unit of slaves, which sort of sent them over here, and then the other unit was then able to actually get around into the flank. Otherwise, I would have been buggered.
Yeah. I think if that that possibly was your greatest move. I think making that charge into there to do that, and then being able to charge into the side of the general, because the general's just going to go around you.
Yeah.
But that would require him to actually kill the Doomwheel and not roll 5-1s to wound.
Yeah, it was quite unfortunate.
So that was pretty pivotal, that moment. So, but I think you know, my bad luck, and you took advantage of it and won.
Yeah.
So that's skill, mate. That's not luck.
Nah. Yeah, it's I'm sort of getting there. There was some good stuff. I got very, very lucky with the help hit, because obviously that would have been 235 points.
Yeah.
I mean that.
I think I hate Jeremy the top. I should at least get the victory points for killing it.
Yeah. Otherwise that would have been a draw. But yeah. It's lucky rolling a 6 and then rolling a 6 for the number of wounds I got back. Because even if I'd rolled like 1 or 2, like you saw, that Mortis engine managed to do 2 wounds to it, and if that had killed it again, then yeah, you would have got it. Well, hopefully I would have rolled another 6 and got it back again.
Does it just keep coming back? Or
Yeah, I believe it does. Yeah.
God, that's a good reason to buy weighted dice.
It's also a good reason to take the flaming banner.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it was good. Great game.
I think one of my biggest mistakes was when the ghoul unit overrun. Instead of like getting all horny for his bunker, I should have charged into the flank of the slaves, thus breaking the steadfast, and then I could have freed up my general quicker, and then he could have mopped up the bunker. But because I was like, oh yeah, ghouls can handle a rubbish bunker like that, man, was I wrong. So
Yeah.
that for me is, you know, bad luck on that side. That was just bad play. You know, I shouldn't have been horny for it. I should have thought about it more sensibly.
Last time though, it wasn't a bad move, because last time you sort of sorted that unit out, didn't you?
What
With the bunker unit. Was it last
for
time?
the ghouls?
Yeah.
No, I sent skeletons in last time, didn't I? Just pin them.
Ah, yes, yeah, and then the general killed it, yeah. But there was a time when you did use the ghouls were fighting against. Oh no, it was against the storm vermin, weren't they? Or it was against clan rats a couple of games ago. I think it was.
No, I don't. I think the ghouls are pretty much underperformed every game. Actually, I don't think they've. First game we played, they got evaporated. They're better in a horde formation, of course, but I don't know. I'm still need to work out ghouls. I'm still going to use them because I like the models, but I don't think they're optimal, really.
Yeah, maybe horde with a combat with another kind of combat vampire.
Yeah, that's the caveat. Anything, put it in a horde with a vampire.
Oh, it'd be great.
I've been toying with the idea of having a vampire with forbidden law to get the signature spell from Law of Beasts to give them +1 toughness and strength.
Oh yes, that would be great.
Really good.
Strength 4, toughness 5.
I'm not an advocate of like using random laws in your army, but I think when it's a signature spell and you're guaranteed to get it every time, and it's such a good one. Look, I mean, it's such a good spell. I think it'd be really useful, particularly on ghouls, to make them toughness 5. And then they become a tar pit from hell. So
yeah,
and it's a cheap solution. So like 25 points for forbidden law, and then give your vampire the level 1 of, you know, the signature of beast. So I might try that next time. But I like this list, and I'm certainly going to try it again.
Yeah, and I rather like the Skaven list as well. It does quite a lot. Might be nice just to maybe swap it around and try and get some gutter, like maybe a unit of 6 gutter runners in there, or 5 gutter runners, just because I see all those necromancers coming out and floating free. And
yeah, I really like the zombie as a bunker unit, because when it all goes down to the wire, you can just bail out the necromancers and then use the bunker as another tar pit. So I love that. I just let it grow, and then it's like a backup. So I mean, those necromancers survive the whole game thanks to those zombies. So
yeah,
can't fault that. Well, I mean, I know Simon's like declared a few mans of the matches, but these guys for me are like, I can't touch them. They're just horrible. So those grave guard going in the side of there it really cost me. from that overrun, because the storm vermin just destroyed them. That was like 350 points on its own. But unit wise, I think it's not really fair to anything to say it was bad, but I think the Vampire Lord was unlucky, which is what kind of messed me up. And some bad play as well, to be fair. There's a good play from Si. Well, obviously the Grave Guard being out of position really hurt me. But I mean, that's bound to happen with random deployment. My best unit didn't turn up. I love this guy. The Mortis engine, I think it's really good. I'm really gutted that Si didn't try and blow it up, because that would have been a great equaliser. I'll have to find a way of blowing it out myself soon.
Well, if I can blow it up on the first turn, that's fine. But
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty handy, especially when turn 6, when it's doing D6, strength 6 hits to things. Cryptoids are pretty cool. They really chewed up their unit of slaves here. What else? Everything else was just pretty much tar pitting, which it did pretty well. It's just these guys eat tar pits for breakfast, so it's a bit of a problem. So I'm not really sure what to do about those, but I think it's just a case of redirection and just picking my fights a bit better. The James unit was good. It just suffered from bad luck, which is bound to happen every once in a while. Made a few bad calls, I think. Attacking that BSB was probably a big problem, actually, because they only got 2 combat res out of it, and as people may or may not know, the Black Knights are not that great at fighting. They're good against like other knights and stuff, but they've got so few attacks and that, they're not Chaos Knights. So you rely on the Vampire to get the combat res. So if he's going to just attacking a 2-wound character, he's just not going to get it. So, and that delayed me even further. So it just shows how reliant I am on the Vampire Lord. So I played it absolutely right and got some slaves in, and I just had to chew through them for 2 turns or 3 turns, which cost me the game in the end. So fair play. Awesome game. I enjoyed it.
Me too. Yeah, it was great.
Okay. And so that's one each with these lists. So maybe we should have a final one. Maybe we can jiggle them about a bit. But I'm quite enjoying the 2,400 at the moment.
Yeah. So next week.
Yep. New game. Handshake. Okay. So it'll probably be Warhammer next week as well, because we're just not enthused with the 4K book at the moment. I don't know why. I think we're just